What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, for today's video, I'm gonna be showcasing some brand new Scareclaw support, new Rikka support, and new Vendrick support, all coming out in the next core set, Power of the Elements. Guys, I'm telling you, there is a lot of new cards to talk about here on the channel, including the first reveals of the brand new Animation Chronicle 2022, which will be our version, which will be obviously the OCG's version of our Brothers of Legend. Some other cards in Power of the Elements, including some new support cards for the next Duelist pack set. There is a lot to talk about, but I'm going to start slow and obviously kick things off with these new support cards. I believe each of these articles has 2 cards to talk about, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to just get straight into it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do enjoy it and you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail is also in the description as well. Anyway, let's get straight into it. First up, we've got Scareclaw Lich Heart, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's a Link 1 Dark Beast Warrior with 500 attack, and its link arrow is left, and it requires 1 Scareclaw monster or a Visa's Starfrost. And it, let's see, its second effect is a once per duel effect, and it has a first effect. Let's see, if you link summon this card, the material must be in your main monster zone. You can only use the second effect once per duel. First effect reads, if this card is linked summon to the extra monster zone, you can add 1 Lithophobia, the Wanton and Willful World of Desire from your deck to your hand. I believe I talked about that card before on the channel, so if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. But the second effect, let's see, the second effect reads, if you control Visa Starfrost, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So this acts as sort of like its own Monster Reborn, and it's a great way to not only add Lithophobia to your hand, but it's also a great way to link up into like a cards like a Proxy Dragon or something like that, which is really cool. So it's a nice little like a nice little tech right there, which is pretty cool. And I guess Lich is the German word for light. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. Next, and then the last of the new support cards for the Scareclaw, we have Scareclaw Straddle, which is a quick play spell, and it's a once per turn, obviously. I swear those dogs need to stop barking. Anyway, its effect reads, target 1 Scareclaw monster or Visa's Starfrost you control, and a face-up monster your opponent controls. Your monster gains attack and defense equal to that opponent's monster's attack or defense, whichever is higher. So it acts as sort of like a Ryoku. If you guys remember that, it's a card that was released years ago that allows you to take half of your opponent's monster's attack and transfer it to your own monster's attack. But with this one, it's different because it just gains attack and defense equal to your opponent's monster's attack or defense, as it says, whichever is higher. So that's a pretty hefty amount of attack right there, which is pretty cool. But the other effect that you can activate says, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Scareclaw monster and or Visa's Starfrost you control, negate that effect. So it acts as sort of like sort of like a mini solemn judgment of sorts, which is pretty cool. There's a note here that says the kanji more or less reads as celestially straddling from the wanton and willful world. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Alright, you guys. Next up, we have some new Rikka support, and I'm actually curious. Actually, another thing that I'm curious about with the new Scareclaw support is how good these cards really are. Because with Light Heart, as I'm gonna call it now, it's a way to help you link climb into Proxy Dragon, and then into your Decode Talker if you wanted to go that route. You can even also go to the route of the Phoenix plays, the Unicorn plays, or even also the Cerberus plays as well. You can even also go into the Nightmare Griffin plays as well. So I'm curious of how good these cards are with the deck itself. I'm very curious about that. But we have some brand new Rikka support. First up, we've got Rikka Snow Princess, which is a 4-star water plant with 0 attack and defense, and the second effect is a once per turn. The first effect reads, during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, you cannot special summon monsters while you control this monster except plant monsters. So it does lock you out of pretty much every other type in the game, but as long as you're able to make your board where as long as you're able to make a board where you're able to just automatically go into potentially into a board with like 7 negates or something like that, then you're pretty much off to the races from there just with this one card alone. So it acts as sort of like a, I guess sort of like an extender of sorts, which is pretty decent. Second effect reads, when your opponent activates a monster effect and you control a Rikka monster as a quick effect, you can shuffle this card from your hand or grave into the deck and tribute 1 plant monster, negate that effect. So again, so just like straddling, this card acts as sort of like a mini solemn judgment, but it's in the form of a hand trap. So it's kind of like a mini Ghost Ogre, if you will, which is pretty cool. Next up, I believe this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. The last one is Rikka Arrival, which is actually their field spell. I don't think they got any field spells. I don't remember. But the first effect is a once per turn, which reads, if you control a Rikka monster, you can set 1 Rikka spell or trap directly from your deck to your back row. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of their turn except plants. So you would need to play this during your main phase 2. If you play during your main phase 1, you're not going to be able to go into cards like Axis Code Talker into Appaloosa. You're not going to be able to make those monsters on board because you would have the field spell on board as well. So you would have to play this card possibly during your second main phase, unless you were able to bypass the summoning requirements, and then you could pretty much go off from there. But for the most part, you will have to play this card during your main phase 2. But the second effect reads, once per turn, if you attribute a plant monster you control to activate a Rikka card's effect, you contribute a face-up monster your opponent controls instead of one of those monsters. So it's kind of like a mini kaiju of sorts, which is pretty cool. I have to admit, it's a pretty nice piece. It's a nice piece of tech right there, which is pretty cool. And then next up, oh, I almost forgot, we do have some new Melfi support as well, which I think I might talk about that here on the channel. But now for the Vendrick support, we have Scarvinger, or I guess Vendrick Scar will probably be better. which is a 6-star dark zombie with 2300 attack and 0 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads: if this card is sent to the grave, you can add a Vendrick spell or trap from your deck to the hand. So it's a nice little it's a nice little spell and trap rota, which is pretty cool. Now, there's really not much else to say about that, honestly. Like, if you see cards with that type of effect, you know it's gonna be good. You know it's just gonna be that damn good. Second effect reads: if a monster or monsters on the field is tributed while this card is in your grave, you can banish one other zombie monster from your grave, special summon this card, and if you do, you cannot special summon monsters while you control this monster except Vendrick. So it's a way to resummon this card to go into any of your rank 6 plays, more so your what'd you call it? Number 24, Dragulus the Vampire Dragon, which is actually a pretty cool card, actually. Funny enough, is a nice piece of tech, to say the very least. And then next up, I think is... okay, yeah, so we do have the ritual spell and the monster itself. We have Vendrick Scarvinger, which is a 8-star dark zombie ritual with 2800 attack and 0 defense. And it says you can ritual summon this card with any Vendrick ritual spell. You can only use the first effect. Okay, so both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads: during the main phase as a quick effect, you contribute a zombie monster. This card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's original attack until the end of the turn. So it's a nice way to try and deal a pretty hefty amount of damage to your opponent while trying to maintain your board presence, if you will, which is pretty cool. Hang on, guys. My laptop is being slow because I have a lot of other shit on my laptop right now. Anyway, the second effect reads: if you control Ravenous Slayer, and this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. How do you bypass the banish effect? Simple. It's simple. You go into a rank 8 play. Plain simple. Plain simple. If you have another level 8 on board, including this card, you can easily go into a rank 8 play, and then use its effect, detach the Scarvinger, and you're pretty much off to the races there, which is just absolutely insane. And then, last but not least of the Vendrick support, we have Ravenous Vendread, which is obviously the ritual spell, and it says this card can be used to ritual summon any Vendrick ritual monster. You can only activate this once per turn. Special summon one Vendrick monster from your hand, deck, or grave in face down defense, except this card, then ritual summon one Vendrick ritual monster from your hand or grave by attributing monsters whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon, including the summoned monster. So it's basically a sort of like a cyber rev system mixed in with a traditional, ritual summoning mechanic, which is pretty cool. And then for the Melfi support, I'm just gonna talk about the Melfi support really quickly. There are a few cards to talk about here. So first up, for the Melfi support, we have Melfi Wallaby, which is a 2-star Earth Beast with 0 attack and 400 defense, and both of its effects are a once per turn. First effect reads: if your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters, or if this card is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, you can return this card to the hand, then you can special summon 2 Melfi monsters with different names from each other from your deck except this card. So this is basically your extender for the whole deck. Helps you go into even more of your Xyz plays and helps you Xyz climb and link climb into some of the more problematic cards for your opponents, such as cards like the Utopia package, Boral Sword, Avermax would be another another good budget friendly alternate for Axico Talker or whatever, which is really cool. And then the second effect reads, during your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a nice little like Cyber Dragon effect, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have Melfi Sealy, which is a 2-star Water Beast tuner with 300 attack and 100 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads, if a face-up beast monster or monster you control other than this card was returned to the hand this turn. As a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon using only this card and Melfi monsters in your hand as material. So it acts as... So this card is basically similar to Malefic Parallel Gear, where if you have this card on board and a level 8 Malefic monster in hand, you have to use that monster as one of the synchro materials to go into your synchro summon. That's what this card is based off of. Is that which is a nice way to not only unbreak your hand, but it's also a way to further your plays. If you're able to gain draw power, you'll be able to gain card advantage off of that draw power if you have any at all, which is really good. Which is not too bad. And then the second effect of this card reads, during your end phase, if this card is in your grave, you can target one beast Xyz you control, attach this card to it as material. So it's a nice little like Xyz import tag, which is pretty cool. Not much else to say about that. Next up, we have Cheerful Melfis, which is the synchro for the deck. 4-star Earth Beast synchro, 1500 attack, 1000 defense, and requires a tuner and one or more non-tuners. And both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads, if this card is special summoned, you can target a face-up monster on the field, return it to the hand. Compulsory evacuation device. Enough said. Enough said, right? Plain and simple. Second effect reads, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, or if this card is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, you can return this card to the extra deck. Then you can special summon a Melfi Xyz from your extra deck. So it's a nice little... It's a nice little like mini shift, where if you guys remember that card, Shift was a card that was used by Yu-Gi, not just in the DM anime, but also in the last few episodes of season 4 of GX, where he was able to switch out one of his monsters on board with another monster from his hand, which is actually pretty cool. That's what this effect does. Only instead of it going back to the hand, it goes back to the extra deck, and you can summon from the extra deck, which is actually not too bad. And then last up, we have Melfi Staring Contest. I don't know who the fuck came up with that name, but I'm looking at the artwork right now. It is just so weird, but I have to admit it's kind of cute. I have to admit. It's actually a continuous spell, and the first effect is a once per turn, and it has 3 different effects. The first effect reads, you can reveal one beast monster in your hand, add from your deck or grave to your hand one Melfi monster with a different name from the revealed monster. And if you do, place the revealed monster at the bottom of the deck. So if you reveal, let's say, Melfi Rabby, you can add Melfi Sealy from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is pretty cool. And then Rabby goes back to the bottom of the deck, which later on you can then shuffle it obviously. So it's kind of like it's kind of like sort of like a 1-for-1 of sorts, but it's like a 1-for-1 mixed in with like a Rhoda, where you're returning alive type of tech, which is pretty clever. I got to admit. The second effect reads, at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can activate this effect. Any number of Melfi monsters in your hand become revealed during this battle phase. So basically, your opponent will know exactly what cards you have in your hand, basically, which is bad. But it also gives your opponent, because it gives your opponent a way to come up with a counter strategy over what cards you have in your hand, which is not the best. Not the best idea. Especially because it's during your opponent's battle phase, which, yeah, not something you want to do. And then the last effect reads, monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to the combined attack and defense of all monsters currently revealed by the card's second effect. Oh, maybe that explains everything now. Okay, so obviously during the battle phase, it's a way to stop your opponent from trying to get game, which that's a nice piece of tech. All in all, honestly, these new cards, the Melfis are not like that good because while it is true that they do have some sort of synergy with a few different like archetypes, in terms of meta, it really didn't. I don't know. Did it do anything? Not really. I know that somebody ran Melfis at one of the previous like remote duel YCS events, but I think he got top. I think he got top 8. I think if I remember correctly. But that brings me to the question of the day. Of these 4 archetypes, which deck are you looking to play the most upon the new cards being released? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you guys want to send me and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.